Good evening, people, and welcome to the Chief NLT Strategist. Gang in the building. How y'all doing tonight? It's been a long day. I had a lot of interviews. I think I had 8. Actually, one got a little bit mixed up with the time and the schedule, and so I missed that one. But we rescheduled for a couple days. But long day, productive, but long. This is actually the first time I'm getting an opportunity to relax. And then after this, I'm heading straight to the gym. I don't usually like going this late, but remember, it's no days off. Got to get those daily activities, daily movement in. It's very important as we get older and our bones start to break down. Like when I do no days off, like this rotator cuff or whatever this thing is, man, it's bothering me. So I gotta probably eventually get that checked out. But anyway, today I want to talk about my experiences with hiring, and maybe it can help you as you build your team and you create the organization that's going to take you to the levels you need to go to reach the goals that you set. So I'm very detailed, very organized, very structured, very system and process oriented. I never not follow the system. I don't care who it is, whether it's family, friends. Now I'm lying. No, I have in the past, depending on what I needed them to do. But in terms of an actual team member coming to the team, they got to follow these steps. So I'm going to break down the steps for you. You could take parts of it. I actually have taken parts from a really good book that I read, and I'll share that later. But definitely take some notes, and hopefully it helps you with your hiring process. So before we get into that, just understand that you want to understand personally what your culture is. So you need to document that, in your documentation within your how you keep records of your office and stuff like that. You want to put it on your website. You want it to be very clear what your culture is about. So when people are inquiring about a particular position that you post, or they hear about it word of mouth, they can always go back to that page on your website and be able to see what your culture is and what you stand for. So that's very important to make sure that is documented on your website. Next, you want to make sure that the team members that you already have in place, that they internalize that they believe in it, that they were hired under those premises. So, because sometimes the actual hiring process may not just be you, and maybe other team members. So you want to make sure that internally everybody understands what the company is about, what the mission is, what our core values are, and so forth and so on. So to actually go through the hiring process, first you want to obviously post the position. I guess before that, you want to write the description. There's a lot of different templates that you can use online via Google. Google, if you're trying to find a chief marketing officer like I'm looking for, you can, Google, you'll find multiple descriptions. Obviously, you could pull from that and decide what exactly you're looking for in your organization, in your company. So write out the job description, then post it. I like to post on Indeed, and I also like to post on Upwork. Now, Indeed, typically it's going to be applicants in your local area if you do have a local business, or it's going to be mainly a lot of individuals within the states. So that's what Indeed brings: local flair, and then also people that are located within the states. If your position is remote, you can indicate that. If it's something where they have to be physically in a location, you can indicate that as well. I'm not going to bore you with the details of Indeed. There's plenty of YouTube videos. You go to their website, and they will give you the instructions how to upload a position there. And then Upwork as well, because Upwork gives you the ability to tap into international candidates, especially if it's a remote position. You might get someone that is a rock star that may be in another country. And remember, the goal of this hiring process is to find rock stars. So I post on both Indeed and Upwork. Then what you want to do is, for every position that you have, you want to write out pre-interview questions. The purpose of pre-interview questions is to kind of um, get allow them to put some skin into the game, because it's very easy. Some people put applying for positions on autopilot. I mean, I did it many years ago when I was coming out of grad school. You would apply for, like, it was a volume thing. You apply for 100 positions. You didn't read anything about the company. You don't know really what the position is. You just want to find a good job within your field. So you're just applying for anything that resembles what your background's in or what you're looking to get into. So your job as the hiring individual, the employer, is you want to make sure that these people are actually interested in the position. They understand what you're doing, they understand a little bit about the company. And so you want to actually email them when they apply. You email them back, hey, before you can get an actual in-person or virtual interview, you must answer these questions first. So next, I mean, you want to review those answers. Now you're going to get some people say, "Oh man, I don't. Can we talk first before I answer these questions? I don't want to waste your time." And your response will be, "No, no. This is my process. My process is you. I'm going to send you these questions. You answer. I'll review them, and if I see from your answers that there is a good fit, then we can go to the next level, which is actual in-person or virtual interview. So review the questions, see how they write, see if they understand what you're doing, see if their resume and cover letter matches what they're writing in those answers. Like, you will be very surprised to see how different some people's writing abilities are from their resume, because obviously people go to workshops, people get other people to write their resumes. So it's very important for you to send those pre-interview questions, and then get the answers, review them, and make the determination if it's worthy of your time to interview them. And remember what I said: your time is important when you're running a business. You don't want to be uh, on an interview in the first 2 seconds. Oh my gosh, this is a mistake. That's probably one of the worst feelings to have when you're trying to hire someone. You're on a call or you're in front of someone, and if you would have just did a little bit more due diligence, you wouldn't be wasting your time during this interview. So, one, you want to make sure you review those questions and before you actually go to the next step. And the next step is setting up virtual interviews. Now, I know COVID, virtual is the way to go. But I still I still think in-person interviews are better than virtual, because you get to really see their body language. You can you could do a lot more in person, but for the purposes of time, you want to do that virtual interview first, and just kind of, make sure it's a video, make sure it's on video. Some people will call and just call into your video chat. You want to actually see them. You want to see how they react to your questions. You want to see what their body language is. So very important to make sure that it's on camera. And when that first interview happens, kind of look at it more as the screening interview. Is you shouldn't make it no more than 15 seconds. And when you're doing the interview, you want to ask about 5 to 6 questions. With those questions, you're really trying to eliminate the B and C players. Remember, once again, you're looking for rock stars, A players. So there are some questions that you can ask, and this will give you the ability to see, one, if they are a fit with you, if they understand the position, if they can do the job, if they're committed to what you're building. From there, you go to round two. Now, before round two, you want to make sure with round one that you're fair, right? So it may not be the perfect candidate from the questions or the pre-screening questions in round one, But if you're on the fence, you want to give them another shot. I mean, you only took 15 minutes. They wrote answers to your questions. They submitted their resume. You want to be fair. So even if they didn't necessarily win you over big time, you want to give them another shot, because with round two, you're digging a little bit deeper. You're really going into um, more detail about what they have in their resume, what they said in that first interview or the introduction that they made. Remember, when people are applying for positions, I mean, they rehearse that script, that pitch. This is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. I've raised revenue from 100,000 to 2 million in 2 days. I mean, people are going to sell themselves 100-fold in the resume in that first meeting, because that's what they're supposed to do. Like, they got to hook you got to hook me. You got to hook me on who you are. Um, Round two is a little bit different, because now you did all of these things. Okay, let's dig a little deeper. Who was that other person? Because I'm gonna call them and I'm gonna do a reference on you. What were you hired to do? What did you accomplish? What were some of your low points? Who you work with? Why did you leave? I mean, think about the essence of those questions. Like, you're really going to find out a lot. And you're not just going to do it for one employee, you're going to do it for up to like 5 employees. So that second interview is going to take a little bit more time. You're going to dig a little bit deeper, and you're going to find out a lot about that person. And you're going to discover that whether they are a fit for you personally, and for the culture that you're building, and for where you're going with your company. So, yeah, you want to go through round two, and then with round two, it will give you the ability to kind of scratch out some more people. So now your pot of 50 then got down to 15 is now got down to 3. And round three happens. And I'm not going to get into round three yet, because I'm not on round three yet with my hire and trying to find the CMO. And I don't want to expose, or I don't want to put it out there what I am looking for and how I'm doing it. Not just yet, because this is a very, very critical and crucial hire for me. And I got to get this right. So I'm going to save that for a later show. But I'll end this by saying, you do not want to make a bad hire. A bad hire can take you out potentially. It can give you years of pain, lots of money lost, and you don't want that to happen. So you have to follow the old mantra: be slow to hire, quick to fire. If you do get it wrong, sometimes you can follow all of these steps and still don't get it right. So you definitely want to make sure you're slow. You build a process, you follow it no matter what, whether it's a friend of the family, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's somebody that you may have worked with. You want them to follow this you want to always follow your process, because this is going to make sure that regardless if you got it wrong or right, you're going to say to yourself, I follow my process. And based on my research and studying and coming to the realization, to find the right person, I got to follow these steps, whether you use my system or create your own. No one is bigger than the system that you put together. So I'll leave you with this. When I joined my partner many years ago, I was still in corporate America, and I was finishing up. And my partner calls me and say, "Hey, listen, Brian, I need some help. And I'm thinking about hiring a friend's sister." And at that time, I wasn't acclimated in the business. And so I said, "Okay, go ahead." I didn't interview them. I didn't see if they were a good fit. It was kind of, what's the worst that could happen? Well, let's just say we went to court for 3, 4 years. No, 5 years. Um, when I came on board, we were getting complaints from customers, bad customer service. So we met with this particular employee, had conversations. This is how we do things. You want to be respectful. Our business won't grow if we're having bad customer service. They were resistant. We tried to have team building meetings where, read this book. Like, here's some motivational quotes. Still wasn't resistant. Still was resistant. Uh, and to the point where we gave chance after chance after chance, and we ended up having to let this young lady go. And when she first filed, she filed for unemployment, and we won because we had documentations of all of the chances that we gave her. You remember, your documentation is important. We had documentation of all the chances and what we did to fix the situation and what she did or didn't do. So they said no, we had every right to let this particular person go. And then a few, not so long after, we got a discrimination claim. Like, basically, we let her go because of something discriminatory. And is discriminatory a word? Yeah, discriminatory. It was discrimination, whatever. Um, so we literally, for probably 3, 4 years, fought that off. Now, the end result was we pretty much settled for nothing. But think about the lawyer fees and the time that went into that. And that's all because we were doing a friend a favor. We needed some help in the short term, and we didn't follow any type of process. And there's other examples that I can give, but I wanted to give you that just to let you know that one, create a system. Two, never break that. No, for no one. And three, not only to avoid bad situations like this, but ultimately you want to hire an A player, a rock star that's not only going to be able to do the job, but be able to take your organization and your company and you to another level. So yeah, I think that's it. Um, Hiring is an art. I love it, man, because when you've done this as long as I have, you've had people that haven't necessarily interviewed the best and turn out to be the most amazing team members ever. So it's an art, it's not an exact science. People are people. I think for me, and it's stages, right? It depends on what type of position you're hiring for. Uh, I've noticed that the people that want to prove themselves, want to be a part of what you're doing, end up turning out to be the best team members. But as you hire for different types of positions, it changes. And that's why you got to have a system of how you do things and make sure, like I said, you don't break it no matter what. So I think that's it. Um, I'm still on round one with a couple interviews for my CMO position. I'm on round two, and a couple people going to round three. I am excited because this process, it works. Oh, a good book to check out is the Who, the A Method of Hiring. I had my process before I read this book, but then once I read that book, I incorporated a couple things that they suggested and that they laid out. But definitely check out the book, Who, the A Method of Hiring. So that's it. Um, I didn't want to take long. I'm tired. I got to hit the gym. I hope you guys have a great night. Let me think. Anything I'm missing? Nah. I'm sure I missed it, but I am going to do a follow up to this so I could talk a little bit about round three, and then I can update you guys as far as how my hiring went with my CMO position. So wish me luck, and I wish you luck. I wish you a good night. Out.